Hey everyone, welcome back to Knit Tea Live, our weekly live stream. Hey Ever, it's good to see you again. We missed you last week. I hope all is going well. Let's see. How many people do we have right now? I don't know. I'm gonna let it be. The YouTube thing is still not working. Anyway. I hope everything, oh gosh, God, sorry. All of a sudden I'm like, I hope everyone's having a great weekend. And I'm going to be honest, this has been a really tough weekend. Yeah, it's been a tough weekend, but you know what? We're here and we can enjoy this time together. And so I'm trying to focus on positives right now. Hey, Whitney, hope you're doing well. So it is Sunday. Late morning, early afternoon in Los Angeles. I got my coffee. Our air quality has improved tremendously. I actually have some natural light coming through the window that should help with the overhead camera today. Oh, excuse me. Wrong pipe. Anyway, so today gonna talk a little, just a squidge about the website that we don't actually name. We sometimes talk about it anyway. Yes, I'm talking about Ravelry. They have an update, and I have kind of an interesting personal update about that for myself. So I'm gonna talk just a squidge about Ravelry. We're going to have a very special pattern spotlight that will be in honor of Ruth Bader Ginsberg. May her memory be a blessing. And I'll show you a little bit updates on my needles if we have time. There's not a ton new going on with my needles, but I figure I'll just show you where I'm at with some projects that I've been showing off and answer any questions you have, of course, and we'll just kind of go from there. So just kind of waiting to see if anybody else arrives. Oh, and of course, don't forget to give this video a like. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. I know all of you here right now in the live stream are subscribed to my channel, but if you're watching on replay, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, give this video a like. All of these things help support my channel and what I do here at Carrie Craft Geek. Knits where it's at. Hey, Janet. Oh, good. I'm glad it's working better. I know that you were having like problems with delay. Also, let me check my YouTube settings. Hopefully I'm on ultra low latency for this stream. That helps too. But, oh, here it is. YouTube changed their normal latency. Shoot. Okay, so there might be a little bit of a delay that goes on today. I hope that's not correct, but we'll see. I can't seem to change the setting at this point. I try to have everything set so that things come across almost instantly after I say them. So, and of course, as we live stream, if there's any issue with audio, it's too low, it's too hot, make sure that you let me know. Okay, so let's see. What should we start with? I think let's start with, actually, just real quick, any reactions to this week's video? Where I explored the many uses. Do I have any with me? I can't believe I don't have any on my desk. I explored the many uses of the paperclip as a knitting notion. I have to admit, I watched back the video and I watched me reacting to using a paperclip as a stitch holder for a thumb gusset, and I'm sitting there going, am I too excited? Was I a little OTT on that? I might have been, but that was my genuine reaction. I was genuinely that excited about the prospect of using paper clips to hold my thumb gusset stitches when knitting gloves. Hey Bear, it was a great little video, thanks. It was really fun to shoot. I had a great time shooting that video. I hope people enjoy watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. Well, I had a lot of fun shooting it. Editing was, I'm gonna let you in on a little behind the scenes info, you know. uh, on that video, almost all of the overhead, no, all of the overhead, except I think for one shot, I had to reshoot. Now, everything in the video is real. I recreated the overhead footage. All of it's real. All of it is what I did. What happened was when I shot the video, when I shoot my videos, I shoot a main camera and an overhead at the same time, and then I edit it. The overhead camera was unusable. I know why it was unusable. It was totally my bad, my mistake. My camera husband would be very displeased that I forgot to clean my lens before I started shooting, and that was totally my bad. Anyway, so I got to the end of edit, and I was trying to fix it in post. I was trying to do these things that we do, and it wasn't working. And I finally was like, you know what? I don't want to scrap this video. I love this video. I'm just gonna have to reshoot the overhead. So I was up very late Thursday getting that video finished, cutting in the new overhead footage. I'm really proud though, because I will say the overhead footage, if you were to compare the content of the original overhead camera and the reshoot of the overhead camera, it's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. Yeah. That's why I didn't end up putting in using a paperclip as a cable needle, because I was just like, the video's long, getting along. I just don't care enough to reshoot that particular overhead camera. So anyway, hey Carrie, I'm the queen of knuckle. Hey, I said hi, Carrie. Hi, Jillian. Jillian, do you prefer Jillian or Evie? Because I watched your live stream yesterday, and I saw people calling you Evie. So I love to call people by the names that they prefer. But yes, I watched your live stream. I saw you clean your lens live on camera. Which, that's part of the fun of doing live stream, is you just never know what's gonna happen. So yeah. Anyway, that's the BTS on the paperclip video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm not quite sure what next Friday's video is going to be, because I didn't end up shooting a video yesterday because it was just like there was just too much going on in life. Life was happening. My husband had a Zoom meeting. I had a Zoom thing I was trying to do. I ended up writing a last-minute blog, which will be part of the Pattern Spotlight today, and just didn't get to it. I could always shoot a video tomorrow as well, but I do have a vlog of me going to Michael's. So if you're interested in me showing you my vlog of going to Michael's and kind of having some genuine reactions to things that I've seen, let me know, because I think that might be the next video. I've always been kind of wanting to try to do a vlog and see what that response is. You know, I'm still at that stage with this channel where I'm kind of throwing spaghetti up at the wall sometimes to see what sticks. So anyway, let me know if you're interested in a vlog or if there's any topic you'd like me to cover, because I'm just, yeah. I'm like, I have a bunch of videos in the works right now. Like, I have one more swatch I have to shoot and make for the acrylic yarn review. So I'm very close to shooting that. I'm very excited for that review. Either one is good. In real life, people mostly call me Evie, but I answer to Jillian too. Oh, okay, cool. So, yeah. Yeah, so I have a few videos actually in prep, but nothing I'm quite ready to shoot tomorrow. So you might get the vlog no matter what you say here. Anyway, so I feel like we got a good group here. So let's talk about the website that I keep saying we won't talk about, but I can't shut up about either. And that is Ravelry. Blah, blah. Ravelry has a latest update called Herdwick. Herdwick is a breed of sheep. I don't know too much about it, but they are calling these different sort of... Stop, back up a little bit. So what Ravelry is now doing apparently, is creating different skins that members can use to help have a less painful experience, because let's be honest, Ravelry for many people, since New Rav has launched, has been painful. And so they launched a new skin because that's their logic. And they're calling their skins after breeds of sheep. So the main New Rav skin they're calling Merino. This new one they call Herdwick. So I know I deleted my Ravelry account, and you all saw the screenshot of that, and I genuinely did delete that account. And I am not using Ravelry as part of my knitting life. However, due to my blog and this channel, sometimes I do need to go on Ravelry to look at things, to test things out. At one point, I was thinking about doing kind of a deep dive into the whole Ravelry situation. I needed to grab some screenshots of forum posts. So I created basically a dummy Ravelry account so I could look at those things. What is a skin? The skin is basically the front looking part of the website. So right now, if you were to go onto like Facebook, what you see of Facebook, the arrangement of everything, the colors, all of that is the skin. So if you think of a website like a body, like a human body, there's a whole infrastructure underneath of it. There's coding, and coding is like the website's DNA. Then you have what's called a wireframe. The wireframe is kind of like the bones of the website. So that's where the placement of different features, buttons, boxes, that sort of thing are. And the skin is all kind of the aesthetics that go over the wireframe. So that kind of makes sense. So if you ever put your phone into night mode is a skin. If you've ever heard, Janet, the design, yes, basically it's the final layer of the design of a website. So that's kind of what a skin is. Like I said, if you look at night mode on your phone or on your computer, that's a skin. And what Ravelry did in launching New Rav, they're doing a whole revamp of Ravelry. That's something you have to kind of understand about the New Rav situation. They are doing a whole redesign of that site. The coding, from what I understand, the coding of the Ravelry website was very hodgepodge. Like, it wasn't, I don't want to make this sound like a bad thing. It's just how Ravelry developed. But it wasn't developed in a kind of venture capitalist planned way where you create an idea for a website and you map out a development plan of like, these are the features we're going to have, these are the ways we're going to roll it out. That's not how Ravelry came about. Ravelry was very much a homegrown project that became something more professional, but the coding, from what I understand, was always kind of hodgepodge, which made things a little difficult for them to add new features. So they're doing a whole redesign and creating a design element. I don't know all the exact, I mean, I'm not a super web tech guru person. This is just information I've picked up. But how they decided to approach this revamp of Ravelry was they started actually with rolling out a new skin. That is what New Rav is. It's a skin. And well, we all know how that's gone. But so they launched a new skin with Herdwick. Through my dummy account, I went on and I switched the mode into Herdwick mode just to see what it would look like, how it functioned. And for the first time, I had a noticeable, undeniable, negative physical reaction to New Rav. And it really took me by surprise. I don't know why Herdwick is giving me this reaction. The main differences between Herdwick and Merino is Herdwick, the colors are more toned down. They're not as dark, they're lighter shades in the palette. and they've turned off the drop shadows. Those are the two main differences. But when I looked at Herdwick, I almost instantly started feeling nauseous and getting almost like just pressure right here in my forehead. And I was like, okay, is this really being caused by this website? I don't recall having any sort of real reaction to this. I mean, my first initial knee-jerk quick glance at New Rav, I liked the overall idea of what they were trying to do aesthetically in terms of making the interface look fresher and more modern. I did think there was way too much white space, and I have never liked that cyan blue color that they put on the buttons. And kind of dissecting it a little bit more, I think the color story makes no sense in terms of where and when they're using colors. There's no discernible logic to it. It's just almost like, well, we'll just make this button blue, and then we'll just make this button this orangey reddish color, and that'll be that. The drop shadows, I always hated the drop shadows. Way too contrast, way too sharp. You look at modern websites today, and the drop shadow is just if there's a box, there's a little bit of a box just behind it to create a shadow, and it gives a little bit of a 3D feel. Their drop shadows are just really harsh and outdated. They're the kind of drop shadows, frankly, I would have done when I was in high school, laying out my high school newspaper, because when I was in high school, I was co-editor-in-chief of my high school newspaper, and my main job was layout. So I won a national award for it, actually. But yeah, but the white space was really hard to look at, but I could always just kind of zoom into the screen and it would be okay. And on mobile, it was never a problem. But Herdwick, yeah, negative reaction. I wasn't positive if it was the website, so I did a few tests for myself. Not scientific by any stretch of the imagination, but just every couple hours under different circumstances, look at the website and see the reaction. And about 4 or 5 times of this, and every time experiencing some level of nausea, I just have come to the conclusion that on my desktop, Herdwick and I don't get along. We do not like each other. On the phone, we can sort of interact, and it's like whatever. But yeah. And frankly, I feel like Ravelry is making accessibility so freaking complicated with now just like with these skins, right? And like we're gonna just try to make things customizable for everybody, and it's just, I don't understand the reasoning behind it. I really don't. Now, I had a negative physical reaction to Herdwick. I have seen people, Sarah Dawn of Sarah Dawn's Designs, she's on the Fiverr Indie list, she's on Twitch, she's a really sweet person, and she has not liked New Rav at all, and her reaction was Herdwick was like, oh, okay, with Herdwick and this other third-party skin I can kind of use with it, suddenly it's better for me. So, there's a mixed bag of reactions to it, and I just, yeah, I don't get this approach to the whole thing. So yeah, for me personally, Herdwick doesn't work. For some people, Herdwick is working. In order to switch if you are on Ravelry and you want to try out Herdwick, you can log on and you go to your Ravatar. In the drop-down menu, there's a button to switch to Herdwick. So, if you're curious about trying it out, try it out. I can't tell anybody what their reaction might be. I can only tell you my reaction. My reaction was nausea and a slight headache, the intensity of which kind of varied depending on the time of day. So, yeah, I don't know. The whole thing's a mess. And I feel like this whole multiple skin things is actually making it more complicated. I feel like no website should be this complicated to use. It really shouldn't. So, that's the story with Herdwick. That's the update. Moving on, this actually does lead into our pattern spotlight for today. Yay, something fun. So, I was on one of my many Facebook groups, knitting Facebook groups, and as we know, Friday we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I'm just going to say right now, I'm a feminist, I'm Jewish. She is like one of my heroes. So her loss was deeply painful, not just because of the current political climate in our country and everything that is at stake, but also just because of what she represented. I mean, Ruth, like, we take for granted almost what we are allowed to do as women in this country. Now, when she was becoming a lawyer, women couldn't sign their own mortgage. Women couldn't get a credit card without their husband or father's permission. Women couldn't open their own bank accounts. I mean, there are so many things women could not do because we weren't considered equal under the law. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg, her career started with knocking those levers of oppression down. So whether you agree with her on every issue or not, you cannot deny that women in the United States now have more freedom because of the work that she did. So, a lot of people in the crafting world are wanting to design or work on what I call I dissent projects, because Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she wore her robe. She would wear a collar called a jabot. A jabot, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. A jabot is like just like kind of usually a decorative frill to judicial robes, and she had a whole series of them. She was really known for her jabots, and she had a particular collar that she would wear when she was in a dissenting opinion. So there have been over time people who have designed knit and crochet projects kind of to in honor of her collars and in honor of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And somebody on my Facebook group came on and said, hey, does anyone have links to patterns for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, dissent collars? Naturally, it became a whole list of Ravelry links. Ever. I gave it a try. It's a little better for me, although painful reading how to turn on Herdwick mode. Yeah. Because you got to get through the painful skin to get to the new skin, and yeah. So anyway, I asked people if they had links to non-Ravelry sites for people who can't use Ravelry. That led to a whole discussion. But anyway, long story short, I decided to write a blog post just linking to some of the patterns that were available on alternative sites that you could get without having to go onto Ravelry. So that's what we're going to do with Pattern Spotlight today. A, to honor Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and B, because frankly there weren't a lot of new patterns this week from designers. So if we have time, I'll also hit on a couple of things for fiber happenings, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you some of the patterns. If you want to do a Ruth Bader Ginsburg project, whether it's an I dissent or something else, you'll see what the something else is. We're just going to take a quick look at that. So, Ever, 2020 is the gift that just keeps on giving. I'm not even American, but I was so sad to hear the news. Oh, thank you, Ever. I know. This year is something else. Let's just put it that way. This is a something else. Oh, and also, so Friday, get the news. I was devastated. Like, devastated. And I was up late and working on something, or I probably was just doom scrolling Twitter, and all of a sudden, earthquake. Like, really? Ruth Bader Ginsburg passes away, and there's an earthquake tonight? Oh, and it was Rosh Hashanah. Which was just painful. It was painful. It was a very painful Rosh Hashanah evening. There's a Jewish tradition that when a person dies on Rosh Hashanah, that is an indication that they were, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, a tzaddik, which is a righteous person, but a very righteous person. So yeah, I read that and I lost it. So anyway, let's get ready to do Pattern Spotlight and have some fun and have some joy, because we still need joy in our life. Here we go. Is this the one I want? Yes. Just getting this set up. Why is that not showing up? Sorry. Come on. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Sorry, having a slight technical problem. All right, I can fix